In this session, let's understand the concept of callback with respect to a very interesting function, and the name of that function is setTimeout. Now, setTimeout is a very fundamental function in JavaScript that allows us to run a particular function by introducing some delay. And the way it works is, we will begin with setTimeout, and overall it has two parameters. One is the function that we want to execute. Let's say we want to execute fun1. And the second parameter is what is the delay, how much delay we want to introduce before executing this function. So this particular timeout is in milliseconds. So it will wait for 5 seconds and then this function is executed. But interesting part is, because JavaScripts use a single thread, we cannot really wait until 5 seconds are elapsed. What does it do is, it will go ahead and execute the rest of the program, and after 5 seconds it will come back and execute this function. This is very interesting. So let's quickly create a function and then we'll understand this concept. Let's say we have this fun1 here, and what it is doing is, it's simply going to log something in the console, say fun1 is executed. And I'll also add some program over here. Let's say we have something else here, let's say rest of the program. So now when we execute this particular script, it'll come to this point, it'll see timeout operation. So before executing fun1, it'll move ahead and execute rest of the program until 5 seconds are elapsed. And after 5 seconds are done, or 5000 milliseconds are done, then it will go ahead and execute function 1. So in this case, what is this function 1? It is a callback function that we are passing to the argument of timeout function. Okay, and let's quickly go ahead and run this one. Now you can see it has executed rest of the program and it's still waiting, and after 5 seconds it executed fun1. Okay, so this is a very important fundamental function that we want to understand also, and also the concept of callbacks. Now, interesting part is, do we always have to pass a callback function like this, like defining it somewhere else and using the function name over here? Can we say just create a callback function right over here? Yes, we can do that. So this is one way of using callback. There is another way also. We can directly provide the callback function here. Say I have another callback function with, say, fun2. So just focus on this part. What's happening here is, we have another setTimeout, and over here I have created an arrow function. So this particular function is defined over here, and it will get executed after the certain timeout. So what will happen when execution comes to this point? It will see setTimeout function. So it will ignore this function for now. It will go ahead and execute the rest of the program. And after 6 seconds are elapsed, then it will execute this function. This is useful when you don't have to execute this function anywhere else. Like over here, this function can be called by some other program also, somewhere else also. But if you have a function or some code which we do not want to call again, then we can just create a function over here and pass it in the argument, right? Like this. This is also fine. So what we basically doing is, we are defining the function right in the argument of this setTimeout function. We are defining a function right in the argument of setTimeout function. Over here, we are defining the function here and providing the name of the function in the argument. Both of these two things are similar. Okay, so let's rerun this and see. The rest of the program is executed. It will wait for 5 seconds, fun1 executed, and then fun2 is executed after 6 seconds. Okay, and one last thing before we sign off this session. We have some more arguments for setTimeout, and those are the optional parameters for the function. So let's say if the callback function accepts certain arguments, say x, and we are printing the value of x over here, then when the function is used as callback, how can we provide these arguments? So those arguments we can provide over here. So let's say 2400. So what will happen? Any other parameters which are optional, but they will be considered as the arguments or parameters of callback function. So they can be provided over here after the timeout. So when we execute this program again, it's waiting for 5 seconds timeout. 2400 got printed, then fun to execute it got printed, and program is done. Okay, so this is very interesting, very useful also. Set timeout. First argument is the callback function. Second argument is the delay that we want to introduce before executing the callback function. And then rest of the arguments are optional. They can be used as parameters for the callback function. As simple as that. If you have any questions, let me know.